Well, I'll say one thing about this movie. At least it made me realize how important stocks could actually be. Good job, movie. Anyway, hey there, guys. What's up? That was a terrible open. I don't know. Hey there, guys. What's up? It is Autobot Mike 18. Autobot Mike back. That's how I was gonna say it. It's Autobot Mike 18 here, back with another video, specifically another movie review. Guys, the summer movie season is thus continuing, and we're taking a break from like big Civil War-ish superhero movies, and we're getting a somewhat slightly smaller thriller by the name of Money Monster. That's right, guys. I saw Money Monster today just a few hours ago, and now here I am to bring you my thoughts. I went to a 10 a.m. showing of this movie. Why? Because I'm crazy. No, I have stuff to do later. That's why. So yes, guys, Money Monster is directed by none other than Jodie Foster. Wow, I know, right? Like, Jodie Foster has been, in terms of an acting role, I think she's been in one movie in like the last like 4 years, and that was Elysium back in 2013. And she's really, I think she's taken a lot more of a break from acting, and she's focused a lot more on directing. This is her second feature, I believe. She directed The Beaver in 2011, I think, and then she did some TV work. I think she directed some House of Cards Netflix episodes. I believe that some people were recommending them to me because she did a good job. So now she's working on her biggest feature yet, for sure. And I was definitely excited to hear that her name was attached to the project. She was directing. I was like, wow, okay, if she does a good job, she doesn't mess up, start directing. Good job. One quick thing I want to mention, though, before I get further into, guys, I'm bringing my old movie review series back for the summer. It's a tradition of mine now. It's been for the last 2 years. I'm going to be reviewing as many old movie. I'm going to be doing as many old movie reviews as I can. The first one up, which is a little bit late. I wanted to get it up before this review, but I just watched this last night. First one I'm going to be doing is The Silence of the Lambs. Obviously, I am going to try to pick a film that relates to like the career of an actor or director or whatever, or writer, of a movie that comes out over the summer. So say this week we had Money Monster come out, and because Jodie Foster directed Money Monster, I decided to pick Silence of the Lambs, which she starred in 1990, I believe. Yeah, in 1991. Because this was like one of her first like huge breakout roles. Everyone was like, okay, Jodie Foster, she's great, she's a good actress. So I will be posting this review probably after my Money Monster review goes up. But yeah, just stay tuned, stay on the lookout for that. Can't wait to bring my old movie review series back up. But I just want to let you guys know that I will be doing that on some weeks, some weekends during the summer. I thought that was like a fun little thing for me to do. Anyway, getting into Money Monster, I was definitely excited and intrigued to see this movie, not just because she was directing, Jodie Foster was directing, and I've never seen any of her work behind the camera before. So I was intrigued for that matter, but at the same time I was a little bit skeptical for one reason that I'll get into in a second. But the first thing I want to get off into talking about is, of course, the premise of the movie. I'll basically just sum it up really quickly because I really don't want to spoil anything for the movie, as I never do, but still, just saying. Basically, guys, the Money Monster is the name of a talk show in the universe of the movie. It's this like Wall Street like stock talk show. The host is Lee Gates, and he's played by George Clooney in this movie. He's this very like animated talk show host, gets very involved with his audience, and sort of makes like a character out of himself while making these appearances on the show. And he basically just talks about how like certain stock markets are doing, like what stock just like plummeted or what rose, you know, how investment firms are doing, all that stuff. You guys know all that mumbo jumbo about stocks. And during the filming of one of the shows that he is running, an armed gunman played by Jack O'Connell enters the studio and holds George Clooney hostage, straps a bomb vest to his chest, and refuses to let George Clooney leave, or most of the production crew refuses to let them turn the cameras off, wants them to keep rolling, and he is after one specific thing. He has one goal in mind. There is a reason why he is holding George Clooney hostage. I'm not going to say what it is. No, it's not the cliched route. Yeah, he just wants money. No, that's the dumbest thing ever. No, he's not. That's not why he's doing this. He just wants one thing, and we are going to find out what that is if you go see the movie. There's Money Monster for you guys. Yeah, I wanted to be very vague, but I think that premise alone, like what I just described, is exciting enough to get people to say, yeah, that sounds cool. I want to go see this movie. Because I'm immediately going to say, like, if you're into thrillers, like high-stakes thrillers that really just keep rising and, like, they build, like, slow, like, in terms of, like, I'll say this much. In terms of people's lives being on the line, people's lives are on the line in this movie, but not a ton. What really is on the line in this movie is just if each character is going to get to accomplish what they set out to do. And that's what makes everything all that more engaging. So if you're a fan of that type of tension in thrillers, go see this movie. But getting back to what I wanted to say about being skeptical about this movie for one reason. One thing I definitely was fearful of was the fact that this involved, like, the stock market and Wall Street and all that stuff. Because I'm that type of guy who you can ask me a billion questions about stocks and investing and, like, what to do, like, involving all of that. Like, I don't even know the right terms, guys. Like, well, let's just put it bluntly. I'm an idiot, okay? When it comes to stocks and stuff, I don't know what the hell's going on. It confuses me all the time. And I just, like, I took, like, a high school business course, and like 2 years ago, 2.5 years ago. And I still, like, don't understand, like, what, like, these certain terms or anything mean. So immediately before I even went to the movie, I was like, okay, I don't know if I'm gonna understand everything because I'm an idiot in terms of stocks. But I haven't had, like, I've had that same fear before for other movies involving the stock market, like a recent one that comes to mind was obviously Wolf of Wall Street. I was really fearful of that, but that movie did a good job of being able to, you know, get across the plot without making everything overly confusing. Haven't seen The Big Short yet, though. That's probably one reason why I've put that movie off as well. So that was definitely one fear I had of Money Monster. And right off the bat, for anyone who's like, yeah, okay, I'm not going to get this movie at all because I don't understand stocks at all, for any, like, fools like myself, I don't think you have to be fearful of that going into this movie. It's not like that was going to keep me from seeing the movie. I'm just saying, like, that's one thing that definitely crossed my mind. Just go see it, okay? Because there's nothing you're going to fall out on. You're not going to be like, wait, I don't understand what that term means. The movie does a fine job of establishing what everything means and, like, what, like, even if a certain term is said, you'll figure it out. Like, you'll get it. Like, you'll get what's going on. But that's just me, okay? I'm young, okay? Maybe that's why I don't know about this stock market. I don't know. Whatever. Let's not talk about that for the whole review. Let's talk about how great Money Monster is, because boy, oh boy, did I enjoy watching this movie. And it's not because it's one of those high-stakes thrillers, and this movie is very intense, and it's definitely edge-of-your-seat, nerve-wracking, intense, and it's electrifying, and I was totally absorbed into it. I couldn't wait to see who was going to get out of the situation, what was going to happen with each character. That was all the more exciting and thrilling to watch. What really drew me in this slightly over 90-minute thriller were the characters, especially the two lead characters played by Jack O'Connell and George Clooney. I was so into that whole plight and the goals of the gunman. I can't think of, I don't know why, I can't, like, I was practicing beforehand, I shot this review, and I was like, what do I call Jack O'Connell in this movie? I don't want to call him a terrorist, because he's not a terrorist. He's just a New Yorker with a gun who wants something. Wants answers, that's all I'll say. He just wants answers about something. What do I call him? So I'm just going to call him a gunman. Why not? He has a gun. Hijacker, whatever. I was 100% surprised that this movie didn't go the one-sided direction and focused solely on George Clooney and just him trying to get out of the situation. Like, there's, like, no development whatsoever towards the gunman who's keeping them all hostage and everything. I was like, okay, they're letting us look into the life of this gunmen a lot more than I thought they were. Nice job, movie. And then the movie takes a complete, like, 180, and it's like, holy crap, I actually feel bad for this guy now. Because that's what happens in this movie. I really, really, really connected with Jack O'Connell's character in this movie. And it's probably because he's among, like, just the poor who lives in the city, is making very, very meager incomes to support himself and family. And it's just like, yeah, I would totally flip out and lose my shit too. And I don't know if I would hold the whole talk show hostage. But, like, yeah, I'd go nuts too. And I love how this movie handled that. It handled it so well. And I absolutely loved what it was trying to say about the massive, massive difference between the wealthy and the poor. Now, I myself do not consider myself, like, extremely wealthy at all. Because I'm not. I see myself middle class, totally. There's a lot of things that I, would totally, like, yeah, like, I want to buy this, I want to buy that, but I can't, maybe I don't have the money for that specifically. Yeah, I buy a lot of Blu-rays, but it's just Blu-rays. No, and I totally just, as I watched this movie, and as I finished it, and as I was thinking about it on the drive home, I was like, yeah, I take a lot of shit for granted. I totally do. Like, I'm totally guilty of that. Like, I feel bad now. Like, and that this movie sold its points just brilliantly in that sense that a lot of people just don't give a shit about the poor of America. Like, they don't care about everybody who's dealing with poverty. They only care about the stuff they have, the wealth they make, and if people have to commit fraud or they have to steal money, and they don't care about who it's going to affect because they're so rich and surrounded by all this wealth. It's just like, whatever. Like, oh, it's just no big deal. I don't care who I'm hurting. And I just love how this movie handled this message so beautifully. It really touched me. I felt incredibly emotional for Jack O'Connell's character in this movie. The performances are all great, and that's probably one reason why I was so invested in the movie as I was. But I just absolutely love how they fleshed out his character. They gave him a clear purpose and motivation. We felt empathy for him, and we felt bad that he had gotten to the point where he had gotten, and he had obviously made mistakes that he was completely self-aware of. And I just love the situation that his character got himself into, and I think it was just excellent, brilliant writing. Apart from that, George Clooney's character as well, I was like, yeah, he is going to try to keep his cool and remain calm. He's so confident when he's on the air, but how is he going to deal with a situation like this off the air? And I love how his own wealth gets brought back into this whole situation. Like, he doesn't understand what Jack O'Connell's character is going through because he isn't like that. His social status isn't like his. And I just love that interesting dynamic between the two. And I love just where their place in this movie grows to. That's all I'm going to say. Because I love the final act of this movie, and I love the whole, like, change of heart without spoiling anything. So I think the writing of the characters is super, super strong, and I think it's super effective, and that is what I loved so much about Money Monster. And not only that, it's so thrilling and incredibly nail-biting at the same time. Like, I'm just like, wait, how the hell are they gonna get out of this situation? Oh, the cops are... I can't believe the cops are gonna do that to intervene in the situation. How the hell are they gonna get out of that? There is one sequence in this movie that... just two sequences that completely blew me away. Because I love how the script is just going down this direction of, oh, okay, I know what's gonna happen next. This person is... this is gonna be such a cliched moment. And then it completely throws a 180 and you're like... holy crap, I legitimately was not expecting that. There's a great scene where Jack O'Connell is real quick, great scene where he's talking to somebody that he knows in his personal life without spoiling anything. You think this person is going to tell him, listen, you need to stop doing what you're doing. What you're doing is wrong. You can't hold people hostage. Just stop it. For the first time in my almost 20 years of life, I have seen a complete 180 of this giant cliche. Whenever somebody is taking somebody hostage in a hostage movie and somebody tries to talk them out of it, like, listen, you're doing the wrong thing. I love how this movie just didn't go down that route. I loved it. It was brilliant, brilliant writing, and it made me feel horrible for Jack O'Connell's character. I was like, oh, I had like a lump in my throat. I was like, whoa. So amazing, near flawless writing in my opinion. I have but 2 flaws with the script that I'll get into momentarily. The cast is brilliant in this movie. George Clooney is great. He's so charismatic when he's doing the talk show bit. I love that. I think he was perfectly cast for the role. I was 100% with him throughout the whole movie. I was like, oh man, how the hell is this guy going to get out of it? I love how he's trying to keep his cool. Similarly, I thought Julia Roberts, who plays the director of the talk show, did an amazing job as well. She's dealt with an immense amount of pressure. All these different obstacles are hitting her in the face as she's trying to keep the situation alleviated and just get everyone out of it at the end of the day. I love where her character went. I felt like the intense struggle that she was feeling, and she was still trying to remain calm, cool, and collected throughout all of it, and I bought that 100%. And I think Jack O'Connell as well was fantastic in this movie. I felt terrible for his character. His Brooklyn accent was fantastic, by the way. He was just a man who was just on the edge, but he was breaking down emotionally, and that was what is driving him to do what he's doing, to hold George Clooney hostage and get the answers he's seeking, and I just thought he was excellent in this movie. I loved all the performances. I think Jodie Foster does a phenomenal job behind the camera. I was really, really impressed with her decisions as a director because the shots looked great, the lighting was great, and the editing choices were excellent because there are some incredibly well-edited moments where characters are revealing information to other characters and we don't hear it right away, but we'll hear it maybe like a few seconds later and you're like, oh wait, did that character just say something finally? But I'm like, we don't need to see any of that. We'll just drop these hints and then like 45 seconds later, then then go for your big reveal or whatever. It was just brilliant writing and brilliant editing choices in my opinion, because the pacing in this movie is excellent. There was not one moment where I fell out or said, oh no, we don't need this scene, it's just unnecessary emotional drama bullcrap, I don't need this, like this is just not adding anything for the movie. I was totally invested, I was totally on the edge of my seat, I was totally thrilled and just totally engaged throughout the entire thing, and that's one reason that I love Money Monster. It is just palpably intense and frantic and always moving. It's always fast moving, and I was just totally invested into it. Yeah, the pacing, the editing, the score, all that was excellent. My only 2 flaws with this movie are 2 just suspensions of disbelief in the script. Just the only 2 things I didn't care for with the script were 2 character decisions. There's one moment in the middle of the movie where George Clooney is broadcasting to everybody watching, and he makes a proposition for everybody to do something, and everybody starts doing something, and then something different happens after that thing. It's so hard to say without spoiling it, but I just wanted to just hone in on this one scene. It was a total reach for me. I didn't buy the fact that the New Yorkers are just this motivated to start doing this one action. That was just a total reach for me. I didn't buy into it. One other thing I didn't buy into were the cops and just how idiotic they were throughout nearly throughout the entire movie. And I know I'm not going to give my stance on how I feel about law enforcement. Whatever. I just feel that every single decision they made was just completely moronic, especially right after the end of the second act going into the third act. You know, right when the third act starts, that one moment, I was just like, are you freaking kidding me? Are you really that dumb? You're going to endanger everyone. Everyone is going to die if you do what you're going to do. How stupid is that? And I was just like, whatever, just cops. I don't buy into you at all in this movie. That was it. Those were my only 2 flaws with this movie. Other than that, I was totally invested into it. Even though the stupidity of the police in this movie made me say, oh yeah, that makes this more exciting in that manner. And I love how this movie just made us want to find the answers to like why everybody was doing what they were doing and why certain things happened the way they did without spoiling anything. That this movie handled that very, very brilliantly. So without further ado, I am going to give a very high grade for Money Monster. I was really into it. I was really involved. I think Jodie Foster did a phenomenal job. I'm so glad she directed this movie. I can't wait to see what she does next. I'm going to give Money Monster a solid grade of a 9.25 out of 10 or a grade of an A-. That's right. I definitely recommend you guys check this one out at some point when you can. It's a great movie, and I think you guys will really enjoy it. So guys, if you have seen it, let me know what you thought of it down below in the comments. And I'm going to get going, guys. I will see you, though, in my next video. Bye, guys.